Guys, Marstinkin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at Hearts and SEALAS, two of our big boys from the Heroes team. You guys know, if you've been coming out to the streams, these guys are mainstays on the team for the Heroes vs Sin attempts that we've been doing. And both of them are STR units, both on the 200% leader skill of Fusion Zamasu. So unfortunately they are not on the same rotation together, so we're going to have to float them off here. We've got big bad bosses active at least, which gives us a decent amount of defense. We obviously do have guard at the start of the turn as well. The only problem is we're not getting a lot of key here, so I think we will probably just have to resign to only getting a 12 key super with you, and then we can grab these for you. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, I wanted to make a video using SEALAS again anyway, because I like SEALAS. I think that he still can be quite good. I feel like he is potentially still maybe a little bit underrated. I know he easy A'd like a year ago, so obviously he's you know, coming up on many of the Heroes units, right? Bit outdated. The headliners for last year were considered underwhelming for the most part. Hearts probably definitely better than the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s. But yeah, both of these units are now, hey, there's the dodge. Both of these units are now essentially a year old. And this video for today was kind of inspired. I wanted to do re-showcases for some of the Heroes units anyway, but I saw Minato's tweet earlier asking for, saying that he wants Super Saiyan 3 Rose to be STR for Zamasu's team. Because we're obviously hoping that he's not going to be super restricted and we can actually use him on Zamasu's team. And so I retweeted it saying that I would like to see the Super Saiyan 3 Rose be physical, because I feel like Zamasu's team doesn't have any good physical units. And I had a few people, including Minato, reply saying that you know, there are no good STR units on the team as well, whereas at least Zamasu's team you can run units like the physical Gawasu and Zamasu, even though they are super type. Because I was thinking more about, like, when I built the team, I was thinking about how we had that mission for, was it the Trunks stage, where you had to use an extreme team with a unit of every typing, and I wanted to use Zamasu's team, and the physical one was the one I struggled with the most to, like, pick a really good unit. And of course, when it comes to STR, I think I used SEALAS for that video, actually. So I think he is definitely a solid unit. And then of course Hearts can actually still kind of hold his own a little bit. Now obviously we saw here on this turn, SEALAS, he does have a 50% chance to dodge built in before he transforms. And he has big bad bosses, he raised defense on super, so unfortunately he did not dodge the AoE. Took 220k. Now, to be fair, there are other units in the game for sure that are still used a fair bit, you know, even now, that will take more damage from that AoE. So I don't think that is necessarily terrible. And we're rocking a 7 million attack stat on this turn with the support from Chilai. So I feel like SEALAS definitely can still hold his own somewhat. Here's mine getting another super, so that raises his defense again. So how much will he tank the normal for here if he doesn't die? Okay, dodge that one, because of course he did, right? And Hearts can still be quite interesting as well, because Hearts of course has guard for 5 turns, so it's from the start of his first turn, so obviously it is definitely much more useful for your overall wait, did you tank that for double digits? How did that happen? Am I missing something? Did Chilai just tank the normal attack from Zamasu for double-digit damage? That's crazy. Alright, well. I'm shocked. Shocked by this, I tell you. Right, so we can probably still get away with... You do still have most of your damage reduction. The friend has Nightmare at level 9. Who does this? I mean, Zamasu, HEL Zamasu has type neutral instead of type disadvantage, and I think only has slightly less damage reduction. I do kind of want this guy to get some more hits in though, so go ahead and do this. We'll try and save a bunch of these STR orbs for our boys on the next turn. But yeah, as I was saying about Hearts gets guard for 5 turns. Then, of course, because of the way they updated a bunch of these passives, you can then transform with him, and then on the turn he transforms, he has guard for 1 turn. Now, the interesting thing is, Hearts' transformation is not, well, the transformation condition, I'll read it out when we get onto the next turn, but his actual, once he has transformed, is actually not super limited by not being on the heroes team, which I think was people's biggest complaint about the units from last year, right? The fact that they were pretty much locked to being on the heroes team if you wanted to be able to get their full passive, which is obviously very annoying. Whereas Hearts, whilst he does get some extra buffs with a full crossover rotation, one of the things he gets is a guaranteed additional super once he's transformed if you have a full extreme team. So obviously here we are running a full extreme team, even though they're of course not full heroes or crossover. So he will be getting that guaranteed additional super attack if we transform him. And he's got pretty good stats once he's transformed, and he does raise defense on super. Both pre and post transformation, so getting a guaranteed additional super obviously is very, very good for him in terms of buffing those stats, like overall, right? So I wanted to bring them both on the team. The problem is, I don't know, like having them both together as a rotation like this is probably not ideal for the most difficult content, because as you can see, he has 215k defense at the start of turn. They share shocking speed, cold judgment, big bad bosses, and brainiacs, which is pretty good. Do you share any extra links with Zamasu? Oh, okay, they do have fierce battle. Because I don't really want to float off SEALAS, but anyway, if I double check here, so if I show you guys Hearts' passive, so Hearts gets 150 attack and defense, additional 50% when performing a super. He guards all attacks for 5 turns, 50% defense within the same turn when guard is activated. He gives extreme class allies 1 key and 30% attack and defense, so that's beneficial to the whole team. Then he gets an additional 2 key and attack and defense 20% for all allies, and a medium chance to stun when you have extreme crossover. So he's missing out a little bit of extra support, but he's still giving 1 key and 30%, and then the stun chance is not really important for difficult content because you can't stun anyway. And then the transformation activated from the 3rd turn if all allies are extreme, which obviously they are. They don't have to be crossover, so that's why it's available now. Or turn 5 from the start of battle if the character has received 5 or more attacks. So that's only if you have superclass units on the team, otherwise it's turn 3. And then once we do transform, which I ideally don't want to do this turn, you get guard for 1 turn, then he gets a big jump in stats, 3 key, 200%, still gets 50% when performing a super, as well as having the effect on his super attack, right? And then you get the guaranteed additional super when all allies are extreme, and he gets an additional 150% attack and disables enemies guard when the enemies are extreme crossover. So he does get a lot of extra attack with the extreme crossover, but getting the additional super that then additionally is raising his defense is probably just the more important part, and that's only by requiring a full extreme team. So I do think that is very good. The only problem is we are pretty low on HP overall here for this turn, so I'm going to do this. Now, as much as I want to show off these guys on the team, he is going to get extra defense after he gets hit. He's going to get extra defense after he supers. The problem is, even with guard, I feel like he takes a lot of damage here from a super. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop an item here because I want to see what happens once we get to the physical phase. Knowing my luck, he now won't super in slot 1. But so yeah, we get hit, we get the defense buff. SEALAS gets the dodge. So far so good. And he didn't super, of course he didn't, okay. So he would have had the option to maybe see how much we would take from a normal without being supered. But he could still super after this, I guess. Now, of course, the downside... Yeah, he did, okay. Now, I wonder if we did... Will we take double-digit damage from this? Because if we don't, that's a good indicator of how much he would take, like, without the Whis, right? Yeah, so 29k. That's with the extra 40% damage reduction. So that's not terrible. That means he's taking, what, like 60, 70k, something like that, without the Whis. But that's post super, which isn't too bad. I mean, to be honest, if we were on full HP, I wouldn't have used an item at all, because I feel like, what is our team's HP? 600k. Even if it was in slot 1 as the first attack, I don't think Hearts is taking 600k from the Int Fusion Zamasu super attack. So I would say that that is pretty decent. And then, yeah, obviously, this was his last turn for guarding, because we floated him off on turn 1. Because if we kept him on turn 1, he could be on turn 1, turn 3, and turn 5. He would have guard on all of those turns. But we floated him off, so now he was on turn 4. He's going to come back on turn 6, and obviously then he's going to have his guard. So, ooh, Chilai showing the super attack here. I guess that means we can just do this, right? Because Zamasu still has some damage reduction, and it'll be enough to tank the super. Do I go into... His domain seems kind of pointless to use, right? Because it's damage received by superclass enemies, so it basically doesn't do anything. Although, actually, does his... I always forget, because I don't use it all that often. Does his infinite Zamasu thing give us support for multiple turns? Because then we probably should use it. Oh, it's only worldwide chaos allies anyway, so I guess there's not much point. Let's do... Yeah, we'll just do AGL Zamasu in slot 1. He should be fine with the damage reduction that he has and 380k defense. And then we can do this and do this in order to get a little bit of HP back here. I say, I mean, we're over 420k now. Chilai is a liability to bring on the team, because obviously she is very much a dodge or die character. Yeah, see, 200k from not dodging that AoE is a bit of an oof. But now we're going to see SEALAS transform. And this is one of the things that I really wanted people to see, right? People who don't know how good SEALAS is. Because I think a lot of people overlook SEALAS because once he transforms, he loses his ability to dodge. And a lot of people don't like that. But he loses his ability to dodge in order to become a defensive powerhouse, offensive powerhouse, who can still stack up to a pretty good level of raw defense. So if we take a look at him here, he is starting the turn. He's only got 200k defense start of turn. But SEALAS is a character that does get most of his defense on super, which is why during the AoE phase, it's very good that he has that dodge built in, like pre-transformation, right? Because he's getting 120 start of turn, then he gets 120% when performing a super. He gets an additional attack and defense 10% with each attack performed, up to 30%. Gets a crit if the enemy is attack or defense down guaranteed, so you don't see that much, obviously. But then he launches an additional attack guaranteed that has a high chance to become a super. And then his super attack effect is that he raises defense for 1 turn, does immense damage, massively lowers defense. So this guy on the right rotation, especially with support, I've seen this guy under a 200% lead, which he of course is here now. Usually on the full heroes team is where we see it. He does like triple supers when he's next to hearts, and he's getting like 10 million attack stat on the 3rd super, which for a unit who easy A'd like a year ago is pretty good. And obviously if he's getting 120 on super from his passive, that's putting him up to what, 400 and something on this turn. Then he's getting a 30% defense raise from the super itself, which is what, somewhere around 60 to 70k each time. So after the first super, he's already up to almost 500k. And he can super multiple times, and that's on this turn where we don't have support, apart from the little bit that Hearts is obviously giving us now. Now, the unfortunate thing is, once we do transform with Hearts, we obviously lose the support, but whilst he doesn't necessarily need guard, because we're against a physical enemy now, he does obviously get increased stats once he transforms. So, go ahead and transform with him. He's at 215k start of turn. He's going to get the guaranteed additional super because we're on a full extreme team. So we'll go ahead and do this. I'm a little bit worried about the Zamasu and Goku Black at the end because they obviously don't have their guard now and they haven't really built up like a ton. But I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe I'll need the item for them to live, but I just want to see what Hearts and SEALAS are going to do. 140k. Oof. Yeah, unfortunately, like SEALAS has become, or sorry, Hearts I should say, has become a unit which, I mean, I see this in the Heroes versus Sin attempts, right? He's a unit that is significantly better after he attacks, because he gets that extra 50% on super from his passive, and then he's raising defense on super. On the full extreme team, he's getting a guaranteed additional super, so then obviously he's going to be tanking those attacks much better. And then in comes SEALAS, over 6 million, then we get the second one with the crit, and then he tanks for double digits, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, Zamasu has not super attacked yet, so I think he's going to super Rosé and Zamasu here. Of course, they dodged the normal. 224k without their guard. Not ideal for them to be floating, really. I probably should have brought like another support unit or something. But, I mean, SEALAS especially, I think is very good. I wanted to bring Hearts just for him to have another link partner. Because, unfortunately, the bad thing about SEALAS, and I am looking forward to running him on ZAMASU'S team if some of these new units and EZAs are runnable on that team, right? Physical Demon Demigra is EZAing and is a support unit. The new Masked Super Saiyan 3 Rose is going to be on ZAMASU'S team. Basically, any Heroes units within a certain... I guess it depends on the actual category, because the any Heroes units that are Realm of Gods, Worldwide Chaos, or Fused Fighters are obviously going to be on ZAMASU'S 200% team, because his extra 30% is Time Travelers. So Rose is on there because of Realm of Gods, Demon Demigra of Realm of Gods. SEALAS is on there because of Fused Fighters, because SEALAS fuses with ARMS, the free-to-play unit, to become that Sephiroth-looking form. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how well he's going to do on that team. He has an interesting link set, which is the only problem. He doesn't link up super well with units like the ZAMASU'S. He's literally sharing big bad bosses, and in some cases that's kind of it. Now, one thing I didn't mention as well in the early turns, which is quite good for ZAMASU'S team, is pre-transformation while he's still the dodge unit. He also gives artificial life forms allies key 1, attack and defense 20%, not super relevant for ZAMASU, but he gives time traveler allies key +1 and attack and defense 20%, which of course does apply to all the Goku Blacks and ZAMASU'S that are on that team. So I think both of these units can still be pretty good. Obviously, we saw there going up against Fusion ZAMASU that Hearts definitely has aged a bit, especially when used in slot 1, but depending how these new Heroes units turn out, Hearts could definitely still have a place. As long as he's not being relied on to be the slot 1 tank anymore, I feel like Hearts could probably still do some work in these newer stages with the right team build. So let me know what you guys think down below. Had you not seen much of these guys or not seen much of them recently? Has your opinion changed at all? I honestly think SEALAS is still very, very good. I can't wait for the new units to come out and run a sort of hybrid like ZAMASU team with a bunch of Heroes units. And obviously you guys will see those videos as they come out. So let me know what you think of Hearts and SEALAS down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been The Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.